You know, as an artist myself and going through all of this grind to get a lot of content out there, do as many stage shows as I can, all the struggles that come with it, this film right here embodies what it means to be an artist. So put simply, this film right here was made for someone like me. And not to mention it's a musical, and you guys all know how much I love those. What's good, guys? My name is Zack. I love discussing all brand new things cinema and entertainment over here on my channel. I really appreciate that you guys chose to click on this thumbnail today. I really hope you enjoy your stay, because today we're hopping over to Netflix to check out Tick, Tick, Boom. This is based off of the musical by the same name by the late great Jonathan Larson. Now, if the name Jonathan Larson doesn't sound familiar, perhaps the name Rent will start ringing some bells. Same guy, ladies and gentlemen. Tick, Tick, Boom is essentially a story within a story within a story. It's directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it stars the ultra-talented Andrew Garfield as Jonathan Larson himself. Yes, Spider-Man is in a musical. You are not hallucinating, my friends. This is based on the autobiographical musical of the same name by playwright Jonathan Larson, played here by Andrew Garfield, as I've said, and it's the story of an aspiring composer in New York City who is worried he made the wrong career choice. So as the huge fan of the musical Rent that I am, I was perhaps too eager to check out Tick, Tick, Boom. I think Jonathan Larson was an astonishing talent who was taken from us way too soon. May he rest in peace. And this movie basically tells us the story of his life all the way up through his very first off-Broadway workshop. It's basically acknowledging the sacrifices he was making as a human being to get his voice out there, connecting with Broadway geniuses like Stephen Sondheim, watching some of his old musicals like Sunday in the Park with George on PBS, and I had a hell of a time watching this thing. To say I was riveted from the opening frame, I think would be the understatement of the year. Lin-Manuel Miranda just continues to prove why he is one of the most talented people in the world right now, and I already knew how gifted of a songwriter he was, so I think it's only fitting that his directorial debut for film is all about the guy who inspired him to become an artist in the first place. And I think because of that, he has a very good grasp on his story. I will admit that there are a few clunkier moments in here with the direction, which I'm willing to give a pass to. This is a tough story to tell with the film medium for a first-time director especially. And I think with what he had, Lin did a marvelous job with this. There are so many nice little transitions made with the editing in these musical numbers going from place to place throughout the Big Apple. It had me going, ooh, that was slick. So yeah, safe to say, I really enjoyed what Lin brought to the table. Which actually brings me to Andrew Garfield. Where the f did this performance come from? Not only can this dude act his heart out, but he's got a voice. I mean, he's belting out higher tenor notes left and right. Like, I couldn't believe it. He not only sounded great, but I thought he captured the essence of Jonathan Larson down to a T. He's eccentric, he's dorky, he's passionate, he's boisterous, he's got the frizzy hair, he's got the spazzy tics, he's got the whole package. And this may be a hot take, but Andrew Garfield may have just given my favorite performance from a leading actor this year. I know, but I really hope this transformative performance is recognized by the Academy. This is Andrew Garfield's best performance since Hacksaw Ridge, maybe even of his entire career, and I thought Hacksaw Ridge was excellent. But getting back to the topic of the music in this film, it's absolutely fantastic. All these songs once again capture the true essence of Larson's personality, which is alluded to quite frequently throughout this film as an autobiographical piece. Garfield as Larson likes to joke that he can write a song pretty much about anything, including but not limited to a lofty apartment building, a Sunday brunch at the diner he's working at, hell, even just about sugar cubes. I think that just goes to show you how talented this guy was. He was a pure natural. And I think this movie encapsulates that rather beautifully, while also retaining a lot of that poignancy you would come to expect from one of his musicals. Anybody who's ever seen Rent will for sure know what I'm talking about. Here's the thing though, guys. Unfortunately, Tick, Tick, Boom is not a perfect film. And I'm sorry to say, guys, but for those of you expecting a behind-the-scenes look at how Rent the musical was constructed, That's not what this film is at all. There are certainly some Rent-isms thrown into the mix, but this is more so focusing on Larson's first musical he ever crafted, known as Superbia. But don't worry, there are definitely little Easter eggs thrown in there, not just for the big Rent heads like me, but also just for Broadway aficionados in general. If I were you, I would watch out for that Sunday brunch number in particular, and just look at all of those cameos in there. There are almost too many of them, but you know what? I didn't mind it. It just makes me smile thinking about it. This is a Broadway love letter if I ever saw one in 2021. Speaking of, special shout out goes to Bradley Whitford playing Broadway legend Stephen Sondheim as well, one of my personal favorite composers. What a transformative turn this was too. It was like I just saw Sondheim right in front of me. But as much as I dug this movie, there are a couple of issues with Tick, Tick, Boom that I would like to delve into with you guys without spoiling anything, of course. First of all, I feel like there were certain musical numbers that heavily distracted away from some of the heavier moments of Larson's life that I was really interested in learning more about. Just to give you an example, there is a big argument that John shares with his girlfriend Susan, played masterfully by Alexandra Shipp. But you have that argument, which is very, very intense, to say the very least. But then it'll cut back and forth from that argument right into a ventriloquist number that Garfield sings with Vanessa Hudgens, who is very solid in the movie as well. But that number reminded me of They Both Reached for the Gun from Chicago, which is meant to be played more for comedy. And I don't know, I get what it was going for, but it just sadly didn't mesh as well as it would have on stage. And keep in mind, this is coming from someone who's never seen Tick, Tick, Boom done live on stage, so maybe this would translate better to that realm rather than film. Because when you put it on screen like this, it just feels like a tonally inconsistent sequence. And I should note the ending of this film, loved it. It certainly got me choked up. But very similar to Hacksaw Ridge, there are moments which are narrated to me that I really wish I could have seen play out on screen. I would have loved to have seen the events they were narrating to me in more detail, because there's a lot they could have delved into with what they were talking about as well. That by itself could have been the third act. I'm not saying that this movie isn't structurally sound. There's definitely a coherent and clear beginning, middle, and end, but I just feel like this movie had some minor loose ends that could have been tied up with things that were more than narration, if that makes sense. Despite my issues, I really, really loved Tick, Tick, Boom. I think it's phenomenally directed, superbly written by Stephen Levinson as well. Oh my gosh, so good. And I think it's not only a fantastic tribute to the man himself, Jonathan Larson, but similar to La La Land about 5 years ago, I think it's a glowing tribute to struggling artists and what it means to succeed in this world. And it carries a very resounding message to all of us to never give up on our dreams, and no matter your strife, keep going with your grind. I'm gonna give Tick, Tick, Boom an A-. This is for sure a sleeper hit of the year, guys. It's on Netflix right now. You know, especially if you're a giant Rent head like I am, this movie is for sure for you. But of course, this is all just my opinion. Have you guys seen Tick, Tick, Boom yet? Have you seen the stage version? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section below. And also, I'm very, very curious to know if you guys have seen Rent on stage, or if you've even just listened to that awesome kick-ass soundtrack. Because I love what I do here. I love discussing all things cinema, theater, entertainment in general, and I have a true blast making these videos. I hope you guys like these videos as much as I enjoy making them. If you do consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. This is the best way to keep track of all of my new uploads, which are coming very soon. Not to mention, it's totally free to you guys. As is smashing that thumbs up on your way out. This is also very, very, very helpful in getting this content out there to newer viewers. And guys, with all that in mind, stay tuned for all this new exciting content hitting my channel very, very, very soon. Look out for my reviews for Ghostbusters Afterlife and King Richard, which both hit theaters this past weekend. And speaking of musicals, I will be checking out Encanto this Tuesday night, and Monday, November 22nd on this channel, I will be releasing a review to Disney's Beauty and the Beast to commemorate the 30th anniversary of its theatrical release. So clearly a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to, especially going into the holiday season. Never gonna stop that grind, you guys. Y'all are the best. With all that being said, back talk, commence!